What's your definition of free range?
Free range here, we're using electrified netting, so that's the only thing that's holding them back. They don't have 100% roaming due to the predators here, so they are within an electric fence, and then within there they have the electrified netting for the meat birds. It also helps to keep the meat birds contained in an area where I can control what they're eating. Their net is moved every 7 days, so they're fully out there, but as protected as they can be.
In other words, as a versus just being the life cycle of the turkey being just in a small enclosed space. Free range is just completely the opposite of.
Right, and there's no overcrowding at all. They have a lot of room. I should determine
what's overcrowding.
Many times people can call them free-ranged or cage-free when they're in the large poultry houses as well. That's especially true for the hens. With the large turkey houses that I was in North Carolina, you could have several thousand turkeys under one roof. So here they are not. I do my best to have them working with nature as much as possible and being in what is their natural habitat, and then just trying to keep them safe from predators. Is my biggest concern with them.
Right, predators. Yep.
They will forage for insects and move around that way, and they're very active. They're very, very active. The other thing too with my poultry, both this is for the chickens and the turkeys, is they are my main. I joke they're my pesticide because they're out there and they are eating the grubs and the worms and anything that could be parasites for the sheep potentially.
Okay. And
and then they're fertilizing while they're doing it.
I see. So there's a natural link between what the turkeys do. They're helping the sheep.
The turkeys, that was their structure down there. I have 2 of them. That's the canopies that was in the picture. By the time turkey season's done, I'm very tired. So that canopy got left down there. But they started up here and then were working their way down when they went out. So you can just see how green that side of the pasture is.
The right side. Let's go back and say, okay, if they're going to be ready by November 12th, what's their life cycle? How do you start from the beginning to get there?
Let's see, they will come, the hatch that I will be getting these turkeys is an end of July hatch. Most turkeys, to get to the normal weights of the 15 to 25 pounds, takes about 18 weeks. You could the longer you raise them, the bigger they'll be and shorter. So that's my thought of we will do selective processing of who's at the weights that we want to meet those dates. But how they start is, and I can show you, we have in the back of this barn is a brooder area. So the poults come, I get them from a local hatchery. They come and they spend turkeys are not the smartest things in the world. I actually commingle them with chickens, and the baby chicks teach the turkeys how to eat. So then usually it depends on how the groups work with the chickens. Usually they are outside by 8 weeks. Okay. I've had them sometimes earlier out on grass, sometimes later. Also depends on the weather. The sooner I can get them out, I like that. But if they're not acting where they're showing enough instinct to be smart enough to run from danger, I kind of hold them in until they're a little bit bigger. I do have hawks. I've never, knock on wood, had a predator attack to the turkeys. So they do very well outside. But then once they're out, so they're spending about half of their life out on the pasture. On an average season, I'd say.
So what's the date that they actually start going out?
So 8 weeks, that would be, I would say, if it's average, so end of July, end of August. Oh no, I would say I've probably gotten them out earlier than 8 weeks, and usually by early September, they're out on grass.
Okay. So
then they're spending that amount. So end of July, they'd be 4 weeks, end of August. So more like maybe it's the 6-week mark then. Yeah.
How are they fed?
They are fed, the turkeys start with a high percentage protein starter. Okay. I add an organic mineral from a company called Fertrell. Fertrell is out of Pennsylvania. It's actually a very old historic company. and then their mineral base is a kelp, so it's high in calcium, and I really find that works well for them. My grain is a local company over in Fort Plain that I get it from, and I leave them on the starter as long as possible. I just think that extra protein really does help them. And then usually, though, when they switch to outside, they are moved into what we call the grower, and that's a little bit drop in protein.
Okay, so that's a different feed.
Yeah, it's
That's
again the same basis. It's a little less soy, and unfortunately, there's no such thing as a grass-fed poultry. They can be free-ranged or grass-based or pasture-raised, but turkeys and chickens can only have about 30% of their diet from pasture.
Okay.
They really do need the grain. So if we tried to grow a turkey on nothing but grass and insects, we wouldn't have much of a turkey.
Ah,
So
okay.
they're simple stomach animals, so they cannot. It's the ruminants that can do the sheep, the goats, the cattle
Cows,
that can go
yeah.
100% grass.
Okay, so we talk about how you feed them and how you raise them. How do you kill them?
So in the morning, you catch the turkeys while it's still dark out before the sun comes up. They don't really know what's going on when you catch them that way, so they're nice and calm when you grab them. And I grab each one individually and then place them nicely into the crates that we have for them. I can fit about 4 to 5 in a crate, depending. And then they're brought up here. We process here right in front of the barn, and they're done. They don't leave the farm. Yeah.
And what is it required to go through that process?
I could process the turkeys on farm because I'm under 1,000 with the farm exemption, and I like the thought of having a state inspected. There's a quality standard there. We have to have the water sampled here on the farm to ensure that is okay, and then I guess that's. But his equipment, I'm not sure there's a separation. It's a trailer that he has, and there's a separation from the kill area, which is done outside the trailer, to then the evisceration room, and then there's a fully separate room where the final package or the animals put in the package.
So what is inspected is his units.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does he secure that it's, because you're going from farm to farm, that everything is clean and
with what Jim is planning to do, he needs 3 farms that would be his main farms, and he did ask me to be one of them.
Right.
So my water will be tested and all that. With people, if they only have 20 birds or something small to do, he has it set up at his place, and then people bring the chickens to him.
Right.
But yeah, Jim, the equipment does need to be sanitized. He takes away all of the what we refer to as the offal, OFFAL. He'll take away the guts and the feathers and all that. He has a large compost pile that he does, so he removes everything from the farm. With his trailer, he has a much better setup. Last year, he didn't have the fully enclosed trailer yet. He wasn't state certified, so he was just processing at his place, and then he came to my place and used my equipment. But I'm not sure how often the inspection occurs, things of that sort.
Yeah, it seems to, I think that contamination tends to happen when you have a massive amount of birds.
Yeah.
That
You mean to the bird, like the E. coli or things
well,
like that?
yes, when you're processing thousands and thousands, but in a small, I think it seems like at a smaller scale.
One of the big areas that's really in North Carolina, there was poultry slaughterhouses at several places, and Joel Saladin uses a term fecal soup, and it's because of the rinse water or the bath water where we need to chill those chickens down as quick as possible because they're at a body temperature, and then we want to chill them to below 40 as quick as possible, and we do that in these chill tanks. The chill tanks don't get cleaned and the water doesn't get changed out very often on those large. We have small tanks, so we change them out as soon as we have a little bit of a downtime where I'm catching more birds. The water's changed out, so it's worked out really well, and the farm's nice and clean in that.
Yeah, not changed
Yeah,
so often.
yeah. Look at you. Are you a muskrat?
Do you grow for other groups as well?
Nope. I've done the majority of all of my products are pre-ordered and sold on the farm.
Okay.
So once a month through the season, people are coming to pick up fresh chicken. I then do only one farmer's market. I've tried a couple others and it hasn't really fit my schedule. So I do a farmer's market. I do Square Fresh, which is the online farmer's market, and then I do. I have a couple restaurants and a couple stores.
Okay. So we're saying that his mobile unit is inspected, and he goes to different farms and provides the mobile unit to kill them, and then what's the other process after killing them?
With the turkeys, we do want to keep them as calm as possible. That's one of the biggest things. So when you're transporting them and moving them around or putting them in an environment they're not used to, that all ups their adrenaline, which makes, that's, I don't know. My thing is I don't want to raise a turkey that had a great life to then go through a really, really horrible death. I don't want that. And that was the unfortunate experience I had when I took them to a place. So, but here on the farm, they are in the crate. The way I did it last year was I moved everyone up to the barn, and then I crated 4 crates, and then so they weren't even in the crates very long, and then we started. We use these, they're referred to as kill cones, and they're kind of like a construction cone, but they're stainless steel. All the equipment is stainless steel. And the turkeys are put in upside down. The carotid artery is cut, and then they're bled out that way.
Okay.
So the purpose of those cones are they hug. That's the way to think of it. They hug the turkey. They're keeping that turkey from thrashing about. They're keeping it calm and settled in that way. So that's the way to look at those kill cones. I just need to watch if he doesn't go to the ponds. Jakey? I need to be down there.
He's so happy.
Yeah. You want to go for a long walk?
Sure,
okay.
yeah.
Because that's where he's headed, and that makes me... One day I'll have a gate down there.
I think that's it. Okay, any more questions? But you can continue telling me.
Yeah, so the kill cone, that's how those work. And then from the kill cone, they go into the scalder, where that's how we heat up. It's almost like pores that the animals or that the turkeys have that hold their feathers in. So as they're scalded, it loosens the feathers. They then go into the plucker. The plucker spins them around. The feathers come off. As you can see, we still have feathers up there. I think I'm going to have feathers there forever.
Okay.
That's what Jacob was playing with. The feathers are plucked off at that point, and then they're put onto the evisceration table where we head is cut off, and then everything is, all the innards are pulled out. The thing with both turkeys, and I can work with your customers on this as well, they have less fat because they've been raised on pasture. They have less fat than a traditional store turkey, and because of that, they actually tend to cook faster.
Okay.
So I always give that warning to them of, start watching it at...
But that's a good thing.
Yeah, where usually I've always told people that it takes 15 minutes per pound is what you can plan. I'm now leaning with what I've been reading and then my own cooking. You're pretty good at 10 minutes per pound if you plan that. The turkeys every year have sold out. They've been in very high demand. So that's been good.
So once Thanksgiving is coming, you sell your turkeys and you don't do anything else until next year.
I would like to say that.